So let's test the movement of your eyes now. Are you ready for that? Good. Now, more technically speaking, what we're testing now is actually not just one, but 3 cranial nerves that are involved with the movement of the eyes. And these are the oculomotor nerve. You can almost hear it in the name. Oculo for eyes and motor for movements. But that's the 3rd cranial nerve. And then we've also got the trochlear nerve, which is the 4th cranial nerve, and the abducens nerve, which is the 6th cranial nerve. The 5th is the one we're testing just after these ones, but these all control the movement of the eyes, like I said, pupils, lens shape, eyelids, and that's pretty much it. Now, as opposed to the optic nerve, which is also centered in the eyes, and that's a sensory nerve, these nerves are motor nerves, or somatic efferent nerves, as they're also known. Now, the oculomotor nerve is probably the most important. At least it controls a lot of things. It controls or iterates 4 of the total of 6 muscles that kind of tether our eyeballs to the skull and control its movements. And these are the superior rectus, the medial rectus, the inferior rectus, and the inferior oblique. And these muscles allow the eye to move up, down, and inwards towards the nose. Now, these are, or the oculomotor nerve is also responsible for the sphincter pupilla, which constricts the pupils when light is shined into them, which is something that we'll test later, just in a moment. And they also control the shape of the lens to help you focus on close-up objects, and that's called the ciliary muscle. Then we have the trochlear cranial nerve, which controls one other of the 6 muscles controlling our eyes, and that's the superior oblique, allowing the eyes to rotate down and outwards. So it's quite an intricate system that the different nerves and muscles have got going on there. And then finally we have the abducens nerve, like I said, the 6th cranial nerve, which controls the lateral rectus muscle, which allow the eye to move outwards or away from the nose. Now, damage to any of these 3 cranial nerves can cause various problems like strabismus, which is lazy eye or cross-eyedness, diplopia, which is double vision, something called ptosis, which is drooping eyelids, and just generally having difficulty focusing your eyes. Now, we already tested your optic nerve, so I know that your vision is generally in good shape and there is no problem with your visual acuity, but there still might be eye movement issues that we haven't discovered, so we're gonna take a closer look at those. We'll just start by inspecting your pupils, especially just the general size, shape, and symmetry, left and right pupils, and they look fine to me. So we'll start by affirming that your eyes and your pupils can move in all of the 9 cardinal directions that we have So I'm going to put my finger right here. Now your job is not to stare directly at me like before, but this time I want you to actually follow my finger as it moves around your field of vision. Don't move your head, just move your eyes. Okay? So follow my finger as it moves around. Mm-hmm. Good. And down here. That's good. You're doing great. Just follow the finger. Just follow the finger as it moves all around your field of vision. Okay, we're going to keep going for a bit. And let me know if your eyes get tired. Let me know if you get headaches, focusing too much. Let me know if you experience any double vision. Let's go a little quicker. Follow my finger around. Okay. Okay, this looks fine. Just there. No, that looked excellent. Just make a note here. Now, I'm going to come in with the Penlight. Move a bit closer again. So I have this Penlight here. I'm going to be shining it towards both your eyes, one of your eyes, in turns in different ways, just to inspect and measure different reflexes, mostly visual reflexes. And the first one is the corneal light reflex. So this is going to come in on both eyes, just there. And I'm just looking for the reflection of the Penlight in your iris. There. And in healthy individuals, the light reflex should be symmetrically positioned on the irises. And it looks to be. Now, if it weren't, that could point to misalignment of the eyes or the lenses or the irises. We need to take a closer look at that, but it looks to be fine. Now, we're going to look at your pupilary reflexes. So, I'm going to be holding a hand just along your nose here. I'm going to be shining the light first in one eye and then the other eye, and I'll be inspecting both the eye that I'm shining the light into and the eye that I'm not shining the here at first. I'm pointing the light here. And watching for the constriction of the pupil's direct response. Okay, normal. Now I'm watching for the consensual pupilary response of the opposing contralateral eye. That seems to be constricting pathetically. So that's good. It's more direct. Pause, dilate, and consensual. Very good. Okay, let's do the other eye. So, placing my hand as a shield here. First, I'm checking the direct pupillary response. Good constriction. Now the consensual pupillary response looks normal as well. Same speed, same constriction as the other eye. Let's go again. Direct. And consensual, direct, and consensual. That's good. The sphincter pupilla is working properly. So next we're going to test your accommodation reflex. Now, this is related to the ciliary muscle that we talked about earlier, which changes your lens to focus on near and far away objects. So I'm just going to be watching your pupils, your lens, as you focus on my finger. I'm going to move it right up close to your eyes. Focus on my finger, focus on my finger, focus on my finger, focus on my finger, focus on my finger. There. Good. Now the other way, focus. Focus on my finger, keep the focus on the finger. The focus on the finger. Focus on the finger. Keep the focus on the finger. There, that looked very normal. Constriction and convergence of the pupils there. We're looking at something, straight between the eyes because of the convergence of the pupils. Now, same reflex, but different test, still the accommodation reflex. I'm going to be holding my finger right up close like this. And maybe, okay, so start by fixating on the skull back here, maybe the nose of the skull. So focus on the skull. And when I say go, or when I waggle my finger, you'll focus on the finger, and I'm watching for a shift in fixation in your eyes, okay? So start by focusing on the skull. Fingers, skull, fingers, skull, fingers, skull, fingers, good, and skull. Normal. Okay, let's just test the volitional volitional is okay, so I'll just ask you to look down. Look at me. Look up. Look at me. Look left. Look at me. Look right. Look at me. Look down. Look at me. Look right. Look at me. Look left. Look at me. Look up. Look at me. Excellent. Very good. Now we're going to do the swinging light test. As the name implies, I'm going to be taking my Penlight here, swinging it quite rapidly from one eye to the other. And what we're looking for is a relative afferent pupillary defect. So I don't really need to know what it means, but it's basically how the pupils constrict and dilate, both directly and consensually. So just look straight ahead, and I'm going to be watching your pupils here. Watching the dilation. That's good. Just stare straight ahead. Stare straight ahead. Stare straight ahead. Stare straight ahead. Good. So what we're seeing with that defect when present, which was not, is a paradoxical dilation of the pupil when it should be constricted. So, speaking of cranial nerves and constriction, one of the things that you could see with these pupilary reflexes and the consensual and direct responses, that is to locate nerve damage and separate the optic nerve damage from the oculomotor nerve damage. So that, well, for example, if I shine my light in this eye and I see both eyes constrict, then I know there are no problems with either the optic or the motor nerve, or the oculomotor, either the sensory or the motor nerve, I should say. Because this eye senses the light and it responds with a motor response. If I shine it over here and there's no reaction from either eye, then that tells me it would be a problem with the optic nerve, the sensory nerve, on this optic canal right there, because we know from before that the motor nerve, the oculomotor nerve, is functioning properly on both eyes. So that's just a little fun tidbit there. Now, the final thing we're going to do is a cover test, which is primarily to test for strabismus. I will cover one eye here. You'll focus on the skull again. You're behind me. Okay? Just focus on the skull. Good. And I'll be shining a light into your eye here. And I'm just watching for any shift in fixation. I'm not seeing any. That's a good sign. Okay, watch the skull. Okay, I'm going to cover this eye. And now maybe watch the large E on the Snellen chart there. Okay. Same deal. I'm going to shine in your eyes right here. There. Okay, good. 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 Just make a note here. Okay, so like I said, that was the last of the tests for the oculomotor, the trochlear, and the abducens nerve. And your eye movements were fine, your pupilary constriction was fine, your eyelids seem to be functioning properly, there's no drooping or anything. I also inspected your any possible tilt of the head, which sometimes the body naturally and voluntarily tilts the head to compensate for difficulty of moving the eyes in certain directions, but there was none of that. So I'm pretty confident that your cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6 are working as they should be. So that's good. So let's call that